America has the world's most advanced rocket artillery system. It's called HIMARS. It can hit targets 300 kilometers away, precision-guided, devastating. For years, everyone thought HIMARS was untouchable. But Germany decided to build their own version. They added upgrades the Pentagon didn't. They integrated technology the US hadn't considered. They created something that wasn't just comparable, it was competitive. And now, military analysts are quietly asking, did Germany create something better than the American original? This is the story of how an American weapon became a European rival. Let's start with America's answer to a problem that emerged in the 1990s. Modern warfare was changing. Militaries needed long-range precision firepower that could move fast, strike accurately, and disappear before the enemy could retaliate. The Pentagon looked at the challenge and came up with HIMARS, the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System. Developed through the 1990s and first deployed in 2003, HIMARS became the gold standard of rocket artillery. 6 rockets per salvo, 300-kilometer range with precision guidance, GPS-guided, inertially corrected, and absolutely lethal on target. For 2 decades, HIMARS worked exactly as designed. It deployed globally. It operated successfully in Iraq, Afghanistan, and more recently in Ukraine with Ukrainian forces. American allies wanted it. The Pentagon sold it as proof of American technological superiority. But as the 2010s progressed, Pentagon planners started noticing problems. First, reload time. HIMARS takes 3 to 5 minutes to reload, all manual, all labor-intensive. In sustained operations, especially against multiple targets, those reload minutes added up. Your crews got fatigued, your timing windows closed. Second, dependency. HIMARS relies on American GPS satellites. If a peer competitor jammed or denied GPS signals, which Russia has experimented with, HIMARS became far less effective. You weren't independent, you were dependent on American infrastructure. Third, logistics. HIMARS ammunition comes from American supply chains. That means if you're Germany or Poland or any American ally, you can't fight a sustained war without American resupply. Politically, militarily, strategically, you're dependent on America. Fourth, the cost. Each HIMARS launcher system costs approximately $140 million. That's a significant investment, and it locks you into American supply lines for decades. By 2020, HIMARS was still the best in class globally, but it wasn't perfect. And some countries, particularly Germany, started asking, what if we didn't have to be dependent on American supply chains? What if we built something ourselves? Germany faced a unique problem. NATO's European flank, Poland, the Baltics, and Germany itself, was staring down a potential Russian threat. Meanwhile, Germany's artillery capability was aging, a combination of Cold War-era systems and equipment that wasn't cutting-edge anymore. Germany needed modern, precision rocket capability, but fast. The Pentagon offered HIMARS, and Germany took some. But Germany's military planners understood something important. If every European NATO member depends on American HIMARS, then Europe doesn't have independent defense capability. Europe has American defense capability stationed in Europe. That's fine in peacetime. In a real crisis, especially a crisis where America was already stretched militarily, it wasn't enough. Then came 2022, Ukraine. Russia's invasion exposed something stark. Modern warfare burns through ammunition at rates European militaries weren't prepared for. Precision-guided rockets, in particular, were in short supply across NATO. Even HIMARS systems weren't enough. Germany looked at the situation and made a strategic decision. We cannot depend on America for this. We need to build our own independent capability. So, in 2020 and 2021, Germany committed to developing its own precision rocket artillery system, not as a copy of HIMARS, not as a knockoff, as a fundamentally different design, optimized for European geography, European weather, and European defense needs. Germany would call it GMRRS, the Guided Multiple Rocket Launch System. And what Germany built shocked NATO. GMRS starts with a fundamentally different philosophy than HIMARS.
HIMARS was designed for American power projection, long-range strikes from secure forward bases with American logistics and American support infrastructure. JMARS was designed for European territorial defense, rapid deployment in confined spaces, independent operations, integrated into European defense networks. That difference in mission created a cascade of design innovations. First innovation, rocket capacity. HIMARS carries 6 rockets per salvo. JMARS carries 12 rockets, double the firepower in a single launch sequence. That means in a crisis, you can devastate more targets faster with fewer repositioning requirements. You're harder to find and hit before you relocate. Second innovation, reload speed. HIMARS reload is manual and labor-intensive, 3 to 5 minutes between salvos. JMARS uses a semi-automated reload system. Estimated reload time, 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Your crews tire less, you can maintain a faster rate of fire. In sustained combat, that's a massive advantage. Third innovation, range. HIMARS maxes out at approximately 300 kilometers with current American ATACMS missiles. JMARS was designed for 500-plus kilometer range using German-developed Taurus cruise missiles and compatible European rocket systems. Greater range means you can strike deeper into enemy territory without advancing. You're safer, your supply lines are shorter. Fourth innovation, and this is critical, guidance independence. HIMARS depends on American GPS satellites. Without GPS, HIMARS loses precision. JMARS uses German-developed inertial navigation guidance with independent accuracy correction. Yes, it can use NATO satellite systems, but it doesn't need them. If America's GPS goes down, whether through system failure, jamming, or any other reason, JMARS still maintains accuracy. Think about what that means strategically. Germany can fight without American infrastructure. Europe can defend itself without dependent on American satellites. Fifth innovation, ammunition flexibility. HIMARS is locked to American-designed rockets and missiles. You want to fire something else? You can't. JMARS can fire German Taurus cruise missiles, German-designed precision rockets, and is compatible with multiple NATO standard munitions. Germany controls its own ammunition supply. Germany isn't waiting for American factories to produce more rockets. Sixth innovation, environmental optimization. HIMARS was built for American desert and temperate operations. JMARS was engineered for European conditions: rain, snow, cold, confined terrain, dense forests. The guidance systems work better in European climate conditions. The hydraulics don't freeze. The crew compartment is heated and climate controlled for long-duration European winter operations. And seventh innovation, crew endurance. HIMARS crews can operate effectively for roughly 12 hours before fatigue becomes critical. JMARS was designed for 14-plus hour endurance. Better climate control, better ergonomics, better logistics integration. Your crews stay effective longer. That matters in sustained operations. And all of this was built by Germany. Not licensed from America, not reverse engineered from HIMARS, built from the ground up by German defense contractors. Rheinmetall, Diehl, and others using German engineering and German industrial capacity. The result is a system that fires twice as many rockets, reloads twice as fast, reaches further, doesn't depend on American infrastructure, and is optimized for the European operational environment. It's not HIMARS V2. It's a fundamentally different solution to a different problem. And that difference is why Pentagon planners started getting concerned.
Let's compare directly. Not to declare a winner, because that's not the right question, but to understand what each system does best. Rocket capacity? HIMARS carries 6. GMLRS carries 12. Winner? Germany. Reload speed? HIMARS takes 3 to 5 minutes. GMLRS takes approximately 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Winner? Germany. Maximum range? HIMARS reaches 300 kilometers. GMLRS reaches 500-plus kilometers. Winner? Germany. Guidance independence? HIMARS requires American GPS. GMLRS has independent German guidance. Winner, Germany. Ammunition flexibility? HIMARS is locked to American missiles. GMLRS fires multiple rocket types. Winner, Germany. Cold weather performance? HIMARS is adequate. GMLRS is optimized. Winner, Germany. Cost? HIMARS is $140 million. GMLRS is approximately 120 million euros, roughly equivalent. Tie. Crew endurance, HIMARS 12 hours, GMLRS 14+ hours. Winner, Germany. Now, you might think Germany wins across the board, but that's not the complete picture. What HIMARS wins at, what America wins at, is proven global logistics. HIMARS has been battle-tested for 20 years. It has supply chains running through 50 countries. American ammunition factories produce HIMARS rockets constantly. If you're a global power operating worldwide, HIMARS is more proven, more available, more globally supported. GMLRS is newer, unproven in actual combat, though Germany has been building and testing it since 2020. Its supply chains are European, not global. Its ammunition comes from German factories, not American production networks. So here's the honest assessment. If you're America, you want HIMARS. It's proven, it's global, it's integrated into your worldwide military infrastructure. You've built it for decades. Your logistics network is mature. If you're Germany, if you're Europe, you want GMLRS. It's independent. It's optimized for European geography. It works in European weather. It doesn't require American satellites or American ammunition. You can sustain operations without American permission or American resupply. They're not better and worse. They're different. Optimized for different missions, designed for different strategic purposes. But that difference is precisely what bothered Pentagon planners, because Germany wasn't supposed to build a comparable system. Germany was supposed to buy HIMARS and stay dependent on American supply chains. Instead, Germany built independence. This is where the regret comes in. Pentagon strategists understood something fundamental about military alliances. Whoever controls the ammunition controls the alliance. If every NATO country uses American HIMARS and every HIMARS rocket comes from American factories, then every NATO country is strategically dependent on American logistics. That dependency kept Europe aligned with America. That dependency kept Europe militarily subordinate to Washington. That dependency was strategic leverage. Germany broke that leverage by building GMLRS. Now, Germany doesn't need American HIMARS. Germany has GMLRS. Germany can fight independently. Germany can sustain operations without American resupply. Germany can make military decisions without checking with Washington first. That's not a technical problem for Pentagon planners. It's a strategic problem. The regret isn't that GMLRS is technically superior in every way. It's that Germany said, we don't need you anymore. We can build our own capability. And Germany proved it. Pentagon expected Germany to be a consumer of American military technology, grateful, dependent, obedient. Instead, Germany became a manufacturer of military technology, confident, independent, and competitive. That's a shift in power dynamics within NATO. It's a shift in who controls the alliance. It's America losing leverage over European defense decisions. And it's not just Germany. Poland is modernizing its artillery. France is expanding its defense industry. Europe as a whole is moving toward independent defense capability, less dependent on American supply, less subordinate to American strategy. Pentagon's quiet regret is that America invested in building allies' military capabilities through HIMARS sales, through technology transfer, through training, expecting that investment to keep Europe dependent. Instead, that investment taught Europe how to build independently. Germany took the lessons from HIMARS and built something better. Pentagon didn't anticipate that Europe would innovate. Pentagon expected Europe to consume and obey. That's the regret. It's not technology, it's strategy. It's the loss of leverage. It's the shift from Europe as subordinate to Europe as peer. This matters far beyond rocket systems. For Europe, it means independence. No longer do European nations have to wait for American permission to defend themselves. No longer do they depend on American ammunition supply. No longer are they subordinates in NATO. They're becoming peers. For America, it means loss of leverage. The strategic advantage of controlling ammunition supply, that's gone. The assumption that Europe will remain dependent, that's gone. The ability to dominate NATO through military supply chain control, that's eroding. For NATO, it means multipolarity. The alliance is shifting from American dominance to shared capability. That's not weakness, it's actually strategic resilience. Europe can defend itself now. That's strategically healthy. And for global power dynamics, it signals something bigger. America can't assume its technology will keep allies dependent forever. Innovation doesn't stop. Europe is building.
other nations are building. The world is becoming multipolar not just in politics, but in military capability. Pentagon regrets that they didn't see this coming. They gave Germany HIMARS thinking it would keep Germany dependent. Instead, Germany learned, Germany built, and Germany now has something comparable. That's not a military defeat, it's a geopolitical one. And it's changing how we think about alliances, innovation, and power in the modern world.